So Browns owner Jimmy Haslam again stressing to the media that quarterback Shedeur Sanders was not his choice. It was GM Andrew Berry, who drafted back-to-back and belly-to-belly quarterbacks. Said not the owner's pick, that was the GM. So what do you read into this? So I've got Aristocrat, Chobani, and Fork. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make the Maller Pizza, still waiting on a mom-and-pop restaurant to put the Maller Pizza on the menu, the garlic, onion, bell pepper masterpiece. We're still waiting on that.
Yummy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so to kick off here, we start with this. So Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. This guy, if the Browns were better, it would be good. They're not that good, so one of the worst teams in the NFL. But Jimmy Haslam is already playing. What game? You know what game? That's right. The blame game. He's playing the blame game. And the kid hasn't even played an exhibition game. Hasn't even taken a snap in an exhibition game, and already the owner of the Cleveland Browns is playing the blame game. Love it, right? He's preemptive. This is a preemptive strike. Jimmy Haslam's like, well, don't blame me if this thing goes sideways. I just own the team. I'm not picking the players. No, I'm not. So he's already throwing his GM, Andrew Berry, under the bus. And the training wheels are not even off the quarterback yet, and he's already dabbling in this department here. You normally don't see this fast from an owner. And generally, as an owner, why would you need to do this? This is a CYA, cover your ass situation. And so it's like what is going on? It's as obvious as it gets. That's what he's doing here. That Haslam he's trying to distance himself from the quarterback, even before the preseason games begin. They begin tomorrow, and the Browns aren't playing in that. But if Shedeur goes out there and flames out and rides the vomit comet, then he's like, well, it wasn't me. Talk to the GM. I didn't pick the player. It's the GM. That's the guy. Now, of course, you know what's going to happen in a parallel dimension, as I believe in the multiverse. So in a parallel dimension, Shedeur Sanders turns out to be amazing. Turns out to be a guy that should have been drafted in the first round. And there's a lot of people that have egg on their face, and the Cleveland Browns are going to be very braggadocious. They'll be like, oh, my God, we knew all along this guy was great. He's got the Dion pedigree and all that stuff. So if that happens, if this guy turns out to be Studdy McStud, then Haslam does a 180. And he's like, oh, man, I'm gonna hold a news conference here, and I want to let everyone know, I want to remind everyone, this was an organizational decision. It's not Andrew Berry. We're an organization. We do it together, and I had a role in this because I own the team. It's like Robert Kraft started dabbling in that with the Patriots, where he's like, oh, there's the organization, and he started taking credit for stuff. And that was one of the things that was the downfall, that and Bill Belichick finding the cheerleader. But the Patriots thing, just to compare and contrast, because it seemed like Robert Kraft was upset that he wasn't getting enough attention. And some of my boots on the ground there in Boston, they're like, well, Kraft thinks he's not going to the Hall of Fame. He hasn't gotten in yet because Belichick and Brady took all the attention, and he should have been more vocal, should have been more full-throated getting the attention. But this is a little different. You juxtapose that with Jimmy Haslam, who likely wants no attention because the Browns, if we have our healthy bodies, we all deliver the Browns every day, and that's the same product the Browns are putting out on the field. But, I'm telling you, if Shedeur turns out to be good, instead of it's Andrew Berry's pick, it's, hey, we believed in him from day one. I just knew all along, It's the aristocrat version of trust me, bro, is what it is. He's not fooling anyone that pays attention to this kind of stuff. And let us not forget, this is the same guy that drafted Johnny Manziel. Now, why did he? I thought Manziel would be good. I fell for that. I did. I was hoping he'd be good. He sucked. But Johnny Manziel, the Browns drafted him because a homeless dude outside of a bar in Cleveland said, hey, you should draft that Johnny Manziel guy. By the way, I'm not making that up. If you've forgotten, a hobo, and listen, people are down on their luck. Some guy that was outside a bar begging for money, like Weed Man Hippie, said, hey, you should draft that Johnny Manziel. And he did. And he bragged about it. Like he let other people know that this was the thing. Wild, absolutely wild. But he did it, And so now we're supposed to believe that the same guy that did that is now all buttoned up, years later, hands off. I just write the checks. I don't have anything to do with the day-to-day. Give me a bleeping break. Come on. The whole thing right now is set up as a fall guy, right? Jimmy Haslam is putting Andrew Berry on notice that this is your guy. If it doesn't work out, he's your guy. He's your pick. He's your problem. That's what he's doing. So he's got 1 foot out the door, Jimmy, already on Shedeur, which is fine, right? Usually you wait until they play a game. It's normally how that works, but he's getting ahead of everything here. He's jumping the gun a little bit. That's fine. And you got to think, if he thought, Jimmy Haslam, that Shedeur Sanders was going to be good, that he would be out front and center with a bullhorn, and he'd be banging the table with his other hand, bullhorn in one hand, saying, this is our franchise quarterback. This is the future. Now, the good news is, even though he's not doing that, he's like, well, yeah, it's Andrew's call, not mine. That likely means that Shedeur will be good, because everything Jimmy Haslam says is going to happen, the opposite happens. Like, whoever he bets on, bet on the other person in a boxing match. So Jimmy Haslam right now hedging his bets as we speak.